Today on Florida Sportsman Best Boat, we're showcasing boats that can fish the tournament trail or help you relax by watching your cork bob away. These are bass boats in the 15 to 22 foot range that let you cast for largemouth, catch panfish, and even hunt waterfowl. Some key features to look for in this class are an aluminum boat with an all-welded hull stands up to abuse over time. Aluminum boats also ride better if they have a V entry. For a tiller model, you'll want a solid handrail to hang onto while underway. A hydro-turf type interior is comfortable to stand on and makes less noise as you fish. A camo paint scheme is a must if you plan on hunting out of your boat. High-performance tournament boats need large casting decks and lots of rod storage. Dual live wells separate your catch from your angling buddy, another necessity for tournament fishing. With many high-performance bass boats running 70+ miles per hour, pick one with a stable ride. Factory-rigged packages offer you all-inclusive, water-ready rigs to save you money, which may make a bass boat in the 15 to 22 foot range the best boat for you. Join our hosts Dave East and Rick Riles as we feature 3 bass boats, one of which is sure to fit your freshwater needs. Gator Trax Hybrid 15x44, the Gator Trax Hybrid 17x62, and the Skeeter 225. They'll be conducting walkthroughs, test drives, and reviewing key features, all to help you decide if this is the best boat for you.
Welcome to this episode of Best Boat. I'm Dave East, boating editor of Florida Sportsman magazine.
And I'm Rick Riles, program director of Florida Sportsman Radio.
Today we're filming out of the beautiful Roland Martin Marina right here on Big Lake O. Most people call it Lake Okeechobee, known as the bass capital of the world, but today...
Don't look now, I'm out fishing you again.
It's not bass we're going after. We're just relaxing, doing a little brim fishing, and taking in some of the beautiful scenery of the lake.
Dave, I can't wait to get on the boats today. We're looking at 3 different boats. All are mildly capable of doing the same thing, but at 3 totally different levels.
Well, the 2 Gator Tracks that we brought are both aluminum. One would be an entry-level boat. It's a 15-foot boat with a tiller motor, and you can have the boat built, really dressed down and really dressed up, but it's the size, really. It'll fit in most garages, it's easy to tow, and it's the least expensive of the 3. Then you've got the medium boat that we brought, which is also a Gator Trax, but certainly a step up. It's a center console. It's a boat that you could do some serious bass fishing in.
Dave, I love talking with the Gator Trax people because, we ask them, why you did this, why you did that. No, you don't understand. We'll do it any way you want. They average 6 hours with each customer before they sell a boat to them, getting it for what they need. You got one fishing partner, they got the boat for you. You got 4 grandkids, you can take them in a Gator Trax.
Well, the top boat that we brought as far as the size and the speed is definitely the Skeeter. Now, if you've got a guy out there that wants to get into the tournament circuit and maybe he's a weekend angler or maybe he wants to go and chase the BASS guys, this boat will definitely do it.
He's got almost highway-like speed, Dave. I'm riding 72 miles an hour in this Skeeter, okay? That gives you the ability to say, no, I want to fish the other side of the lake. No, I want to go to Rodman. No, I want to be in the river. You can do them all without putting your boat back on the trailer.
All right, if you want to freshwater fish, one of these 3 boats will definitely fit within your budget and it'll fit your fishing needs.
Well, Dave, now that I've thoroughly spanked you catching brim off the dock, let's get on these boats and see which one might be just the best boat for our viewers.
Don't go away. We'll be right back with more Florida Sportsman Best Boat. This segment is brought to you by Costa Del Mar. See what's out there. Florida Sportsman, the source for fishing in the outdoors since 1969. Florida's largest fishing and outdoors magazine. Year-round TV with real-time Florida Sportsman and Florida Sportsman Best Boat. Florida's #1 online resource. Over 8 million page views a month. Live reports from the water every Saturday morning. Hands-on instruction, seminars and demonstrations. Books, charts, and more. Become part of the Florida Sportsman community today. Welcome back to Florida Sportsman Best Boat. This week, we'll be featuring bass boats in the 15 to 22 foot range.
All right, Rick, this is the middle of the size range boats that we brought today. It's a Gator Track. It's a 1762, and you know, we're going back down to my roots now because coming from Louisiana originally, we all started off in aluminum boats like this, and I just love them.
Oh, here he goes with the Cajun again. But the boat's appropriately named, Gator Trax, all right? This boat is designed to go where you can hit a stump and keep right on going. And Dave, you can be as far into this boat as you want to be. Now, here's what I mean by that. You can certainly buy this boat bare bones, and you and your buddy can go fishing. Look at this thing. It's got this really cool decking on it. It's very soft, and it keeps down one of the major complaints about aluminum is that the hulls are hot. This one won't heat up like an aluminum deck will.
Well, the HydroTurf you're talking about, it's cushy to walk on. Plus, if we're fishing and you drop a sinker like you always do, it doesn't alert every fish in the pond.
You're right, Dave, and these can be as elaborate or as simple as you want them. Let's start breaking down this one and see the features we like.
Rick, the first thing I noticed when we step down inside the boat is the gunnel height. Normally, you just don't find an aluminum boat with this much gunnel height.
Well, you're right. Think about it. Here we go. Where did this boat come from again? Louisiana, Lake Pontchartrain. It gets choppy. You better have enough freeboard to keep the water out of the boat. And I know you love the fact it's camouflage.
Well, you know what? It gives a boat a dual purpose. If I want to go duck hunting out of this boat, you can.
Well, you're right. These boxes that are alongside, they've got these really nice long boxes. They're just as good as shotgun holders as they are rod holders.
Well, that's the beauty of what Gator Trax does. Every boat's custom built, like we had said earlier. So you can have this casting deck as large as you want it. You can have it small. You can have your boxes on one side, both sides, many different console configurations. That's something you don't normally see in a boat that you would go buy off the shelf. I mean, like I said, there's other aluminum boats out there, but you're going to have to be happy with what they designed. Rick, you know, another thing that I see in this boat is the quality of the construction. Like we had said, it's all welded, but if you just look at the way this thing is put together, the grab rails are welded, all the pieces on this boat are welded. There's nothing bolted on.
This is a very solid way to build a boat if you're going to fish freshwater primarily, maybe a little bit of inshore salt. But let me tell you something, this baby's put together.
Well, it really is. I spent some time riding on it this morning, and I was impressed because on a hard turn, she comes right around like she's on a set of tracks. You don't get that airboat slide you get out of other flat-bottom boats.
Dave, here's something you don't see on many aluminum boats. You know my complaints about high casting platforms. Look at that. They even put in a step down to walk back into the cockpit. Perfect.
Well, the center console design is something else you don't normally see on a aluminum type boat. It's, like you said, I'm not going to call it a John boat. And it's tall, but the way they've got this leaner, you can actually lean against this and almost be seated when you drive the boat, and it's real comfortable.
It is, and I'm more comfortable running the boat standing up. But how about this? It's even on springs, Dave, to keep you comfortable while you're crossing big water. It's a well thought out aluminum cockpit, I promise you.
If you look at the way they did their motor bracket, it's welded in place also. Now they also use a hydraulic jack plate where you can raise that motor up and get this boat in really, really skinny water. But here again, just look at the way this thing is constructed. It's all welded, it's one big solid piece.
Bulletproof is the first term that comes to mind, Dave. It's designed to bounce off stumps, it's designed to go anywhere you need to go and keep you going for a long time.
Well, another thing I look at too when we look at any boat is the little things that manufacturers do to really let you know that they take pride in what they build, and they've been doing this for a long time. Here in the back corner, they've got a little welded piece in there for your sticket. Something you just don't normally see on a boat. They also have the same thing on the bow. And the stickets are really, it's a poor man's power pole. And even though the boat does have a power pole, sometimes a sticket is easier to use.
Oh, it is easier to use, Dave. There's no mistaking it. This boat was built by fishermen that hunt, that are in the outdoor lifestyle 365 days a year. You and I saw this morning that it'll do exactly what it's designed to do.
All right, Rick, let's do an overview of the Gator Track 17. I ran this boat earlier this morning and I absolutely fell in love with it. If you look at the forward casting deck, not only is it large, you've got storage built into it, but I like the fact they left the aft end of it open, because sometimes if I have a big tackle bag, it's a lot easier to push under there than it is trying to fit through a small hatch.
Or your decoys if you're a duck hunter. I love the HydroTurf. I don't like standing on hot aluminum. And you know I love the step down off the casting platform, Dave. That just makes sense.
Well, the two storage boxes on either side, you can use them for rods, you can use them for shotguns, or you can just use them to put your gear in. But either way, you've got locking rod storage on both sides, and it's massive.
I love the stand-up console. I'm more comfortable running the boat standing up, but you don't have to. The rocket launcher is on springs. You can make yourself comfortable running in big water sitting on it.
Well, if you look at their aft deck, they've kept it small, which maximizes the amount of cockpit you've got in this boat. You've got 2 jump seats where that way 3 guys can sit across here comfortably. And the way they've built this transom, I love it. It's low to the water. I can get a dog in and out easier. Or if I get in the water, maybe I'll fall over in the wintertime and I've got a heavy jacket on, I can crawl back in the boat.
It's hard to believe the advancements in aluminum boats over the last years. This may be at the top of the evolutionary scale.
Stay tuned for this week's Florida Sportsman Best Boat Seminar. This segment is brought to you by Yamaha. Reliability starts here.
It's 200 streamlined horsepower of Yamaha forward thinking. The all-new F200 inline 4-stroke. Whether you're an offshore angler, pontoon cruiser, bay boater, or walleye hunter, the responsive and fuel-efficient F200 combines amazing power and versatility in one incredibly compact and lightweight package. The all-new F200. Legendary Yamaha reliability and the freedom of forward thinking.
Welcome back. Here's Dave and Rick with this week's Florida Sportsman Best Boat Seminar.
Dave, when I started freshwater fishing, a trolling motor was a trolling motor. It had a handle on it, and it would deliver all the way up to 10 pounds of thrust. Now, it seems like there's a trolling motor for every application.
Well, there really is, and you really have to size the trolling motor to the boat, because if you don't have the right size motor and you get in heavy wind or heavy current, you're going to run your batteries down fast and you're really going to tax that motor.
Dave, it's not just the size of your boat, also you have to consider windage. The more gunnel height, the more wind resistant, takes more thrust to do it. But Dave, you can drive them by remote now, you can drive them by foot pedal, you can anchor your boat with them now. There is literally a different type trolling motor for almost every boat. Better do your research before you figure out which one's going to match your boat.
Well, you're right. This little key fob right here will do it all. It'll hold the boat, it'll hold a track. So really, it's going to depend on the kind of fishing that you're doing. It's going to be freshwater, saltwater, how much current, the size of your boat, how high your bow is. Take all these things in consideration and pick the right trolling motor for the boat.
There's almost one for every type of boat now, Dave. Do your research before you pick your trolling motor. You'll be a lot happier with your fishing package.
All right, Rick, let's just say the Gator Track 17 is a little bit larger boat, more than what you need, and you want to step down in size. Look at this one. It's a 1544 by Gator Trax, and this thing is built like a floating tank.
It is, Dave. That's exactly what I was trying to think of, how to describe it. A four-wheeler maybe, a go anywhere. You know, there's no conditions this boat can't take.
Well, it's got the same HydroTurf that we love so much because it's cushioned. It'll cut down on the noise, but you won't be fatigued at the end of the day because this is comfortable to stand on.
It is comfortable to stand on. Of course, you can sit on your casting platform if you're the guy up front. This is a perfect two-man boat. If you and your buddy are into, you know, on weekends taking off and going exploring, looking for gators, fishing, doing a little frogging, this is the boat for you.
Well, like we had said earlier, Gator Track's a custom built every boat, so if you wanted additional bench seats or a different configuration, maybe even a little side console, you could. But the way they put this boat together, this thing is a duck hunting machine. You can stand on the back to drive. You've got a little bar to hang on to, plenty of room for your dog, your decoys. You've got a shotgun box over here. If you want a boat that you can fish out of but also shoot ducks, this is it.
It is, Dave. Now, all your friends could go with you on a trip like this, but for me, I've got too many, so it wouldn't work. This is a perfect 2 to 3 person boat. You're not going to overcrowd it. You're not going to have more than that in it. With the HydroTurf and the minimal draft, very little footprint in the water.
Another thing I love about this boat is it'll fit in your garage. You can back it in, shut the door, leave all your tackle in the boat. You don't have to leave this boat outside.
Dave, you might think there's not a lot you can do with the bow area of a boat this size, but that's not true. Those grab rails are very valuable. In fact, they're almost mandatory if you're going to sit up there.
Another thing I like too, Rick, is the fact it comes pre-wired for your trolling motor. Put your battery here. On a boat this size, you're going to have a bow-mounted trolling motor because that's how you're going to fish along a bank. Here they've made provisions for it where you can mount your trolling motor there, your plugs are already here, and you've got an accessory plug as well.
You can actually put a depth finder up there and go high-tech if you want, Dave. It's an excellent way to lay it out.
Well, you can also use this boat at night for frogging, so if you want to plug in your Q-beam light there and work along the bank for frogging, or maybe if you're going to be alligator hunting during season, there again is another use of the plug. All right, Rick, as we move aft, look at this box over here. Like we had said earlier, this boat is really set up for duck hunting. This is a great place you can put your shotguns.
You're right, Dave. You can store your safety equipment in there, your fishing tackle, whatever you want to. You've always got to have a place for it and to keep it dry. But I love this handle. I love a tiller motor. Okay, what is not to love about it, Dave? You've got so much more visibility standing up than you do sitting down. Heck, we both grew up driving tiller boats.
Well, I still have one now, and some of the things that I see in this boat that I wish I had, it's got a built-in fuel tank. That's something you don't normally see on a boat this size. Another good thing about a tiller is if you have to take the motor off and store it independently of the boat, you can. You really can't do that on a boat that's got a side console that's hooked up to remote steering.
Yep, I love that, Dave. I love having the storage space, but I gotta tell you, this seat was ideal the way they did it. This boat's very comfortable running, but you can sit here, you're on the HydroTurf, and you're perfectly comfortable.
Well, if you look aft even further, they've got the same deck that they had on the larger boat. I really love this, something I've never seen before in a John boat. If you got to get in and out of the water or pull your Labrador Retriever in, it's low enough to be just off of the water, but yet they've got a little bit of a bulkhead here that separates it, so you're not going to get water splashing in on your feet.
So Dave, to sum this boat up, it's really tough, okay? It's very practical for doing an awful lot of different things. You want to flounder gig, you want to gig frogs, you want to hunt ducks, you want to catch fish, you want to hunt gators. There's so many things you can do with it and so many places you can take it. In fact, you can even take it some places where your horsepower is legislated.
Well, normally in a boat this size too, people just have to buy what is already pre-made. And there's a lot of aluminum boats that are small like this, but to be able to go and meet with the manufacturer and have one custom designed to your specific needs, that's huge. That's something that you just can't find.
It really is, and this is one of the situations, Dave, where you can do it without the huge commitment. This boat can be a hobby, okay? I've got a good buddy, all he likes to do is gator hunt, care less about fishing. This is a perfect boat for him because he's only gonna use it a few months a year. It's him and his gator hunting partner. They don't need a $75,000 boat. They need a boat just like this.
Well, I know earlier we had talked about all the other boats we had tested were versatile, and these were pretty specific. But you know what? When you get back to versatility, in this little boat, we could crappie fish, we could bass fish, we could brim fish, we could gator hunt, we could frog hunt, we could duck hunt, and it just goes on and on and on. Your imagination would really be your only limits.
You're right, Dave. It's already camouflaged. All you need is your decoy and your dog, and you're ready to hunt. But you can do a lot of things in this boat that you can't do in boats that may require a much bigger commitment from you.
Not only that too, the performance of this little boat is awe-inspiring. When you see how this little thing turns, this morning you were out there with us and you saw how this boat reacts. You can put this boat into a hard turn, no slide.
Handles it like a pro, it really does. I like the high gunnels, I don't want to forget that. They keep you dry, running in a little bit of chop. There's a lot to like in this boat that is not as big as a lot of the boats we've looked at.
So if you're looking for a small boat that you can custom build, maybe this Gator Trax might be the best boat for you.
Don't go away. We'll be right back with more Florida Sportsman Best Boat.
When you buy a Florida fishing license, you support research, conservation-minded fishing, law enforcement, habitat restoration, hatcheries, access to fishing, and programs that connect kids to the outdoors. It's an investment in the future.
Those are the reasons I do.
That's why I do.
These are the reasons I do have my Florida fishing license.
Please say I do too and get your Florida fishing license.
Welcome back to Florida Sportsman Best Boat. This week we'll be featuring bass boats in the 15 to 22 foot range.
All right, Rick, this is the largest of the boats that we brought. It's the Skeeter ZX 225. And man, you know what I love about the bass boat industry? It has evolved so much that even the weekend anglers get the benefits of all the stuff that the tournament pros have developed over the years.
They do, but the tournament pros haven't stopped developing. It keeps coming and it keeps coming and it keeps coming. Dave, this boat is designed for the freshwater fisherman that wants to compete at the highest level. He doesn't think about bass, he dreams about bass, okay? When he was saying his wedding vows, he was thinking about where a bass was spawning. This is the top of the food chain.
It really is. You know what? This boat, she's fast, she's stable, and it's got everything laid out that a hardcore tournament guy would really want on a boat. But for the weekend guy out there that wants to fish just maybe some local club tournaments or really just enjoys bass fishing, there's no reason at all that he can't have the same rig.
Dave, he wants this rig if he's got the dream, and don't we all have it at one time during our life? He wants to be able to compete. Maybe he never will, but he's got the opportunity to. He's got the avenue to explore whether or not he can catch bass at the highest level.
Well, so many of the boats that we tested in Best Boat are saltwater boats. And you know what? The saltwater boats, I love them, but those guys just don't get it because everything in Bass Boat is comfortable. They're comfortable to sit in. They're comfortable to ride in. At the end of the day, you're not as fatigued. Everything about this boat says have a relaxing day on the water, but do it at a competitive level.
Dave, it does. We can start right up here at the bow How do you like that cushion under the bow casting platform up there?
Well, you're right. Half of the platform has just a little bit more cushion than the rest of it, and it makes a huge difference at the end of the day.
If you're throwing 1,000 casts a day, it makes a huge difference. I mean, you're gonna be standing on it for hours. And Dave, how long ago was it that bass fishermen came up with the idea of putting their bottom machines up here where they could see them while they're running their trolling motors?
Well, not only that too, I like the fact that they've recessed the foot control down level in the deck, because I used to fish tournaments. Ours was up on top of the deck, and many times you hit either a stump or a wake comes by, and I've almost gone over because you're out of balance.
Right, and you're not there. Your foot sits on there comfortably. You can adjust the pressure, adjust the speed of your trolling motor as you go.
Well, I was looking earlier at the construction, because you know that's what excites me. So many older boats on the market right now, they have soft decks because wood that they were built out of, wood will rot. You know, all it takes is for one screw to be embedded in the wood and not sealed good, water gets in there and rots the decks. That can never happen with this boat. We're standing on aircraft grade aluminum, and all the buckets underneath are poly.
Dave, leave it to Skeeter. Of course, they've been building bass boats forever. They've got a pedestal seat that goes up front, but you realize you can store 25 rods and reels below that deck. And I know many bass fishermen that leave with that many in their boxes.
I don't know any bass fishermen that don't leave with that many in their boxes. And then all the tackle that they carry. The typical guy that's going out bass fishing for the day, he's got half of a tackle store with him.
Oh, he's got 25 or 30 trays, plenty of room for all of them in there, and the brackets to hold them. They've thought out the below the deck space very well.
I like the fact that you can bring it all when you need it, and when you're not using it, it's out of sight, it's out of the way, but when you get in, at the end of the day, you don't have to take anything off your boat. You don't have to unload anything. Just leave it all on the boat, put her in the garage.
You know what I heard about them freshwater guys? They don't even have to wash them off. They can just put them up and lock the doors.
Yeah, we can't do that in saltwater, but yeah, you get in the freshwater, there's a lot of benefits to it.
Let me tell you something the saltwater guys haven't learned that you're gonna love about this. Let's move a little further after and have a seat in these seats.
Well, it's like sitting in your living room. I was watching you earlier and you just looked way too comfortable.
David's like sitting in a Jaguar. I mean, it's just, you're so comfortable and you're so wrapped around. It's a completely different experience than any saltwater boat we've been in.
Well, you know what, too? I like to say that the bass boats probably are designed with more safety in the fact that these boats are fast, very fast. It used to be that a 60-mile-an-hour boat was fast. Not anymore. These boats are 70, 75, 80 miles an hour. You're down inside the boat, and most of them have what's called a hot foot. That way you put it in gear with your normal throttle control, but to control the speed of the boat, you've got an accelerator pedal. And if you come up to something, you need to slow down and get off that pedal very, very fast.
Dave, with a full 20 feet to work with, you've got a lot of options.
Well, everything's laid out where it should be. The rod storage on both sides, you've got a lot of tackle storage under the bow. Even your drink cooler is located in between the seats, so if we're making a long run from one fishing spot to the other, our drinks are right here. You've got a live well in the back that's divided, so I can put my big fish on one side and your little bitty fish on the other side, and more storage under the rear deck.
And let me tell you, this boat is specially designed to bass fish. Of course you can brim fish and speck fish and do a lot of different things with it, but if you live for glitter paint, if you cannot sleep without dreaming about frogs on top of the water, tell you what, this Skeeter ZX 225 might be the best boat for you.
Just as a tournament bass boat is configured for a specific purpose, other freshwater boats are equally designed for catching panfish, and hunters can have a camouflage finish in a boat that has gun racks for shooting waterfowl, which may make a bass boat in the 15 to 22 foot range the best boat for you.
Well, if you want more information on the 3 boats that you've seen today, go to our website, floridasportsman.com, click on the boating page, and hit the best boat link.
And we'll see you next week on Florida Sportsman's Best Boat.
Each month, turn to Florida Sportsman for the best in boating and fishing coverage.